All right, everybody, welcome to 2020. This is the Hillside Gardener with the 2020 seed starting episode. And if you've watched from the beginning, you'll know last year I have a tradition here on the Hillside where I always start a couple seeds on January 1st or December 21st, give or take, what I consider the true beginning of the growing season. Which, if you check out my last video, I kind of go into that, so I won't relive that for you guys. But for those of you who have been following along, this is a tradition I started a couple years ago with my dad, and I've always just roll with it. So on the 1st of January, I started a couple seeds just symbolically. And like I mentioned, December 21st, I typically regard as the beginning of the growing season because that's when the winter solstice, it's the longest night, and every day is going to be a little bit more daylight. So every day you're getting closer to putting your plants outside, enjoying that nice warm sunshine and weather and getting back in the garden. So anyways, I'll go ahead and stop right here. I'm going to show you what I got going on over here on my little seed table. So right here, like I said, we had some really warm weather. So these are some rosemary cuttings I've taken, and they haven't really, no roots have actually started growing yet. These are pretty fresh. Over here is oregano, and that is sage back there. So those are, I think one of the oregano I did check has some little roots going kind of out of it. I thought it was kind of cliche, but check it out. It's in an Italian seasoning, old spice container I was throwing away. So starting some Italian herbs. I don't think sage is Italian, but rosemary, oregano, same picture. I thought it was funny. Anyhow, so right before you here, I have 12 cells of seeds, or seed cells, I guess. And inside of these, I will be planting some cilantro. These are just some old seeds I'm just trying to use anyways, just to kind of use them up, Some Laura Bush petunias right there. Alright. Some tender crisp celery. Now I know celery is going to get huge. It's going to be a giant plant. I don't plan on letting it get to a giant plant inside. For one, this is just for fun. And two, I'll probably harvest it as kind of like microgreens. I want to see if I can do like celery, like baby celery. Just break off a little bit at a time, just as something to do in the wintertime. This is not going to focus, but this is Rocoto de las Selvas Rojo de Arequipa. So Arequipa Rocoto. These seeds are actually really old, so I'm just going to plant all of those. They may not even germinate, which is fine. And the wintertime is a perfect time to just test your germination because you wait until April or March when you're going to start your seeds for your real harvest, for your real garden, and you find out that none of these seeds were germinating. Well, by the time you order some more or get back into it, it might be a long time and you might be set back a little bit. But if you find out in the wintertime that these didn't germinate, that's when you want to find out. And if they do germinate, well then you have a whole bunch of plants and, that's a good problem to have. These are Costa Rican yellow rocoto peppers. Now the last one right here, a little story on this. I'm just calling this the Hillside Surprise Pepper. So if you watched my series on growing peppers in the woods, I had a final harvest episode where I just picked everything off the plants. It was about to frost. And I took them back to the house and I was just chopping them up. And notice right here, some of the leaves here are kind of dying off. All right, anyways, so anyhow, I had the peppers and I was chopping them all up and everything. And then I saw one pepper I did not recognize. I mean, everything was labeled. I had the banana peppers, I had some ghost peppers, some Hungarian wax, some cayennes, all these kind of different things that are very common that you don't really need a label to tell them apart. But I found one. Well, there was 4. I guess they came from one plant, maybe 2. There were 4 peppers that I didn't recognize at all. They had a different shape. They sort of looked like a banana pepper, but they were flat. They weren't very long. They looked kind of like I don't know what they were. So, me being me, I'm cutting peppers up, not paying attention. What do? I cut a slice off, pop it in my mouth. Okay, now first off, it tasted super juicy, like your mouth is full of juice, and then it was insanely hot, like insanely hot. I mean, I've had ghost peppers and scorpions and serranos and all that kind of stuff, but nothing like this. So this just lit me up. It actually made my tongue hurt. I mean, it wasn't spicy, hot burn if you ever had a ghost or even a habanero, depending on your tolerance. But man, it made my tongue was throbbing in pain. So anyways, I'm trying to grow this out this year. I'm going to start this in the winter time. That way I get try to keep it isolated and grow it and see if I can get an early harvest just so I can try to maybe get a generation or 2 out of it to try to stabilize it if it is a new hybrid or if it's just a random fluke. I don't know what it's crossed with. I really don't know. I couldn't tell you by the taste. I couldn't tell you by the shape, but it was something special, so I'm calling it my Hillside surprise. So follow along and we'll see, we'll learn together what this thing's all about. Now what I would recommend you guys do, and I always say I'm going to, but I never do, this year I'm gonna do it. All right, anyways, I've laid out what I'm going to do here. So 2 cells a piece for each, the peppers on the right and the flowers, cilantro, and celery on the left. Now, I recommend you plan this out ahead of time. You know what you're going to do. That way you can use this as a guide for planting. Because if you go through and you plant in the seeds in the dirt, and then you try to go back and remember what you did and make a list afterwards, like I did last year, it's not going to work out as well, and you'll mix things up, and well, there you go. So once again, I recommend you make a list. Something similar to this. Diagram it out. Now see here in the corner, there's a little star. Why is there a star right there? Now let me show you why. What I'm going to do here, and you can use whatever, you can mark it any way you like, but what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take this blue tape that's going right there. That's how I know where to start, because throughout the time you're going to spin it around for light, or it's going to get moved, or you're going to move it from this grow station to somewhere else. And as long as you have that marking right there, and you don't take it off, and you know that marking is that right there, then you can coordinate all of your stuff. You know, you'll know what everything is, and it's easier to keep track of it, especially when you have little pepper seedlings, because they all look the same. You know, the celery, the petunias, and the cilantro, that's easy. Peppers, make sure you keep them labeled, because you'll never be able to keep track of them otherwise. So I'm going to go ahead and put some seeds right here, and we're going to go ahead and start planting these out. So I'm going to go ahead and try to show you this. When you sow petunias, you need to make sure, just very lightly, get them on top of the soil. These seeds are microscopic, so one little tap's going to dump a whole bunch of seeds in there. Okay, and then you're going to just leave those on top of the soil. The same with the celery. Celery as well needs light to germinate. So this may not be as easy to show. There you go, it's a lot. Okay, so anyhow, you can always thin those out. But celery needs to be sowed on top of the soil. Just lightly tap it in once it's on top. As I mentioned, it needs moisture and light both to germinate. The petunias as well need light to germinate. Show you that down there. Just try to tap those in. And what I do is I don't like digging holes in the seed trays. So the cilantro here, peppers over there. What I like to do is just I put soil on top of the seeds. Right there's a hair on the plant. So I'll put put dirt on top. I don't like disturbing the seeds because right now they're spaced out evenly. I know where they're spaced out. So I'll put stuff on top right there. So after that, I'll save you that stuff. I'll do that on my own, but put a little seed humidity dome kind of thing on there. If you want to tape it in, you can. Make sure you keep your marking intact. That way you know where it's, you know, everything is at, label-wise, etc., etc. So there you go. So that's what I started on January 1st, 2020. Sounds really weird saying 2020, but it's what it is. So there it is, guys. That's my 2020, January 1st. Starting some seeds here on the hillside, keeping my tradition alive. If you guys have a tradition of January 1st, or early January, or some kind of tradition you guys have, just let me know. Drop a link or a comment down below. Tell me what you guys do. If you've ever done this before, or maybe if you started doing this because you watched this video and thought, hey, that's a pretty cool idea. Tell me what you're growing. We'll communicate. We'll everyone spread this kind of tradition along. I like to see it kind of grow and see what everyone's doing. Make a little January 1st seed sowing little group or something. I don't know. But it'd be kind of cool if more people did it. Anyways, this is Dave. I'll be Hillside Gardener signing off. I'm going to go ahead and get these some more soil on that, water those in, and get those growing. I do appreciate you guys joining me. Hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas, an awesome New Year. Hope you have a nice, healthy, safe, and happy growing season at your hillside, wherever that may be. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.